Now, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. So let me explain. First off, it's free. I'm not joking, you guys. The Anchor app, it is free to use. Second, there's creation tools that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Now that's awesome, isn't it? Third, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, you guys, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and so many more platforms. Fourth, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Now, is that awesome, you guys, or what? That's just terrific. And finally, it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So I have another podcast with Anchor, and I'm just loving Anchor so much. I love it. It's so very easy to use, guys. So why don't you download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. What's up, you guys? And welcome to the official podcast of Damian Talks Education. So listen up. I am here to talk about all things education on my podcast. So get prepared for some realness and honesty of education as I walk you down through various of topics that's happening in the education world with some amazing guests, to sharing stories relating to education and so much more, because I got you covered with education. So join me on this journey of education with me. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Damian Talks Education. I hope all of you guys are doing well wherever you are at this moment and are taking care of yourselves. So let's hop right into today's show, shall we, you guys? Because back with me for this week is the co-host of Future Educators Talk, the host of his own show, Let's Fair About Education, and the substitute tutor, and who is also a substitute teacher. So everyone, welcome back on, Mr. Andrew Frett. So welcome back, Andrew.
But I'm not as energized because I took a nap. So y'all just gonna have to bear with me. Y'all just gonna have to going to have the non-energy today for today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, you guys. So let's hop right into today's show, shall we, you guys? Because since, school is starting back up now, I'm going to give you guys, and especially to the new teachers out there, and also veteran teachers, you can use this as well, but I'm going to be giving out some 8 ways, you guys, for proactive classroom management tips. Now, I know I discussed this back on Future Educators Talk, but I never quite, gave you guys like some tips of, what you should use or, whatever into your own classroom. So I'm going to do that today. So let's start off with this first, that new teachers, especially you guys, and also experienced ones with veteran teachers, you can find ways, some ideas on how to stop, disruptive behavior before it even begins. So, number one, make sure you guys, you have, your notebook and pencils to jot these down. And I will, some of the ways, some of the tips I will be giving you guys, if I can speak on today, I will be using some of them into my own classroom as well. So number one is and I really like this too, and all teachers should do this in some kind of a way that works for them, is to greet your students at the door. Okay, so I found this out that in a school at Washington, D.C., a teacher who starts their day by giving each of her students a high five or a handshake, a hug, whatever. And this teacher says that during that time, I'm just trying to connect with them. And I absolutely agree with that so much because, like I touch base, Andrew knows this, and like I touch base on future educators talking on here, you starting off first with building that bond with your students firsthand, at the beginning of the school year. That's when you guys should really do this at the beginning of the school year, not trying to wait at the end of the school year, or it, because that's like a waste of time. Like, what have you been doing all along? So um you should, I like this here, I like this here, and I wish back in high school, some teachers would do this, but they wouldn't, because whatever, they just want us come in, do sit down, do what we're supposed to do, then there we go, right there. But what do you think of this, Andrew? Will you be doing this, or have you, since you're a substitute teacher now, have you been greeting students at the door when they come in, or how are you with this here?
I have during the past. I'm sorry, you're gonna hear my graduate voice. I told y'all I just woke up from a nap. But I have great every student in the door outside. Sometimes I do it inside, like inside my classroom as I'm setting up, like
Yeah,
getting ready for the day, because sometimes I'm not ready yet. Like
right.
there's some stuff to do before I actually get started. Will I continue be doing this? Definitely. Why wouldn't I? But during my time as a substitute teacher, even now, yes, I've been doing that a lot of that.
Right. And I like that there too, because that will give, the students, probably, like in my opinion, like, a warm welcome inside, into the classroom, or if you're doing it inside, or even, outside before they come in. So that will be, that's a good tip right there for the new teachers who are entering into this upcoming school year. That would be great for you guys as well. So number two, I have, and like I touched base on this earlier, is to establish, maintain, and restore relationships. So building relationships with your students through strategies like we just said, greeting them at the door is a good start. And it also is very necessary to maintain them over the course of the school year, all year long, you guys. And get this here, I really like this here, and I want you guys to jot this down because I really do like it. The stronger the relationship and the better we understand our students, the more knowledge and goodwill we have to draw on when the going gets tough. I really like that. I really like that. So, new teachers, please write that. And also, with all educators who are watching my show, because I totally agree with that there. So, number three is to use reminders and cues. For older kids, for older students, you guys, like high school students, this is, for example, for the high school teachers, give plenty of warning if you need them to follow instructions. And reminders are very helpful ways to encourage your students to, follow instructions without, you keep telling them over and over and over and over again. So another example I have is, if you can, anticipate a distraction, or I mean disruption, such as students getting out of their seats if they finish an assignment early, give them a short reminder of what they should do instead. Okay, instead of, like I said there. So, okay, I quite see how that's going. Okay. And then also, reminders are commonly variable, you guys, but they can also be, visual. Because you guys have some, of course, visual students, who likes to see things, up close, and not, if you write stuff on the board, like they like to see things, visual like, so um I think, yeah, all teachers, yeah, use whatever, you don't have to do exactly what this is saying. Use, what best works for you inside of your classroom because you run that classroom. Nobody else does. That is your classroom and you could, do whatever you need to, okay? That's like in my opinion, because that is like your room. You control everything that is happening in there, your students that you have, during the day, whatever. So do what's best for you. You don't have to, agree to what I'm saying here, but these are just like some tips to try to help out, especially for the new teachers out there. Um, so I'm going to move on to number 4, you guys. And then I believe we quite touched base on what I'm about to say here back on Future Educators Talk in season 1, I believe, where we talk about classroom seating. And I believe we said that we was going to use um, flexible seating into our classroom.
Mhm.
So yeah, so when students choose their own seats, get this, you guys, when your students, they choose their own seats, there is more likely, 3 times more likely to be disrupted than when the seats are assigned. Because after all, they would probably pick seats, next to their friends and spend more time chattering. We know that. We know
Right,
that.
right.
So yeah, so that doesn't mean it is always bad, you guys. That doesn't always mean the case. But giving your students a sense of ownership in the room, paired with clear expectations for behavior, it can be surprisingly a positive effect. And also, a welcoming space can reduce anxiety and also boost academic performance inside of your classroom. So, I found this out. There's a teacher in Madison, Alabama, who gives her room a cozy feel by adding, like couch or, a rug, a coffee table, posters, whatever the case is. And then her students, they decide where to sit. But here's the case. If they can't get back to work done, if they can't, do what they're supposed to need to do, then she does this here. She moves them back to the classroom or up front of seats, whichever, the case is there. And I believe, I don't know, because I was quite thinking about this over the course of this week, that my first year of teaching, I was going to let, and I don't know, this probably will change once I start teaching, but I was going to let my students, like, the first day of school, because, it's the first day, it's, they're coming back from summer break, excuse me. And, they want to, sit with their friends, catch up with them because they haven't, over the course of the summer, to get to, on that stage there. And I was thinking of that, let them sit whatever on the first day, which is fine. Um, but then like on the second day, I was like going to probably assign them to seats. Um, but I'm thinking of this here, like, I don't know, I may let them sit probably like the first few months, let them sit whatever they choose to. But, if they get, if they're not doing their work, if they're not doing their work, or, if they're too busy, chatting with each other, with their friends and stuff, then I may, reconsider that. But what's with you, Andrew? Are you going to, let your students sit anywhere they want to, during the whole school year or the first weeks, or like how are you um are thinking of this here?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, no, yeah. I can say whatever you want. No. Um, for probably for the first, I would say for the first 9 weeks, they will be sitting in assigned seats because
Okay,
to learn everybody's names.
correct, correct.
Uh, which we talked about in that previous episode, but I'm not gonna get into that. Um, and then from there, I'm gonna let them decide um for for the trying to like this transition to the second 9 weeks, I will let them decide if they want to continue to sit in their assigned seats or to sit whatever they want, aka
Mm-hmm.
flexible seating, or um what's the other one? It's if they want to continue sitting in their assigned seats, flexible seating, or they can sit wherever they want. So really they
Yeah,
got 3 choices. But however, flexible seating and they can sit wherever they want is a privilege because it all depends on their behavior.
correct. Exactly.
Or I guess for that day.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know, probably now. I'm probably not going to let them choose on their first day of school because, yeah, like you said, yeah, I want to, yeah, absolutely, get to know them, like get to know their
Whoa,
names. Um,
I don't know who you
exactly.
are. Why are you
So,
sitting over there? Go back to your seat. Because I have no idea who your name is. Because the
yeah,
way I'm going to organize, because I'm going to go ahead and say this too.
okay.
Some teachers has they put it in ABC order, which is good.
And that
Yes.
was what I was going to do. Yeah,
Um,
because, yeah,
but some teachers do it like they start with A and work this way, and then and like that. For me, I like to start with the A's and then go down
hmm,
so that B or you know I
yeah,
can't.
yeah,
My
I
mind
know.
is
Yeah,
it's woken, but it's not fully.
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, because I remember, yeah, some of my teachers, former teachers, I don't know why I keep saying teachers, my former teachers, they used to did that with us, like putting us in, because we was in rows and they would put us, in alphabetical order because they would know, like, if they go down the list, like, okay, who's here? Okay, you're here, you here, you're here. They would do that because that makes it, much easier for them. Because if they they put them wherever, like, okay, where's Damian at? Where's he at? Okay, he's back there. Where's Sally at? Okay, she's right here. It be, it takes
I
so much
see.
time,
Yeah.
away from them. Um,
Mhm. Too much
so
time. Too
yeah,
much. Too much
yes,
head movement.
yeah.
It should be that one look. All right, cool. All right, you're there. Cool. Not just, oh, you over there. Oh, you over there.
Yeah,
Oh,
that, yeah, oh, no, mm,
no.
no,
ABC order, please. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Muchly appreciated. Thank you.
Mhm. All right, you guys. So I hope you wrote that down for number 4, and let's move on to number 5, which is, and you guys, because I never seen this, in my, school years, and I don't know with you, Andrew, but teachers, I don't see this a lot. I really don't. But you guys need to. What I'm talking about here is to give behavior specific praise. Okay,
Oh,
let me explain this here, okay,
explain.
before you guys come at me here. So it may seem, counterintuitive, but acknowledging some positive behavior and also, ignoring the low level disruptions can be more effective than punishing or disciplining your students. Instead of focusing on, specific students, like your favorites, like I mentioned before, but I'm not going to touch base on that. Offer praise for the behavior you want to reinforce. So, like, for example, you could tell your students, like, if they completed all their assignments, they did everything that you told them. You could say excellent work of getting to your excellent. You could say excellent work of getting all your things correctly. Or, you could say excellent work for getting to your seat quickly. Now, this can be, for like elementary because middle and high school students, I don't think you don't because they would be like, I would be like, you okay? You don't have to treat me. You don't have to
He's
say
like,
that
good
I'm
job. You
a
completed
little
your
kid,
essay. That
a
was good.
teenager,
Yay.
high schooler. What are you
No,
doing?
ma'am. No,
So
ma'am.
so
I got
yeah.
time for this.
So you guys, please use that. And also, it also is helpful to avoid using the word don't. Okay.
Don't do this.
Because
Don't do that.
students are more likely to listen to instructions that include clear reasons. So don't use the word, don't. That's what they say here. So don't use it, use,
I'm still
something
going to
that,
use it
yeah,
because I'm still going to use it because that's part of my personality. So don't make it happen. Okay.
yeah.
Don't do
Hmm.
this.
All right. Let's move on to number 6, which is, of course, is to set clear expectations for your classroom. Okay, so instead of just displaying rules for behavior across your classroom or whatever, you could have a discussion with your students about why those rules matter. So, a 7th grade social studies teacher in Portland, Maine, he works with his students to create a list of rules, which are you could use words such as, focus, considerate, you know, the list goes on and on and on. And this helps to build a sense of a community. And he says that it helps us own the behavior in the classroom. And instead of a top down list of rules that a teacher gives a class, these are words that we, generate together. And these are words that we believe in. So set clear expectations for your classroom. Um, you know, do that with your students. Like it says, have if I could talk on today, have a discussion with your students about setting clear expectations for your classroom. Like, this is how I want it to be done, like this way, blah 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 blah. You turn your assignments in this, whatever the case of your classroom. Set it very clear so your students know exactly what they're supposed to do, because well, not a lot of you guys, but some of you guys don't, set it very clear for your students to understand of, of what they need to do inside of your classroom, because they're like all over the place. And you have to keep on, reminding them over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, which is very tiring for you guys. I know, because you have to keep on repeating yourself over and over and over and over and over again. So set it very clear, during the beginning of the school year. Then yes, of course, I know that, some of your students, they will forget from time to time, but you could always, remind them. So that's what about you, Andrew? Set clear expectations for your classroom. Um, I believe that's good at the beginning of the school year, don't you think? And not waiting, in the middle of the school year, or, at the very last minute at the end of the school year.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I got time for that. Set for each lesson. If you're teaching high school, actually, let me back up. If you're teaching elementary or middle, because I found this out yesterday,
Okay.
and not yesterday, on July, because this episode is probably going to come out sometime in August. So, I found this out back in July 15th and July 16th. So, I want you all, it's up to you, to write down a learning target or the I can statement. And then let students read that at the beginning of the lesson so that at the end they will know how to do it. So for my math people, if I were to teach 6th grade math, we learn about order of operations. The learning target will be I can solve and write an equations and how to solve order of operations correctly. So that when they're about to leave for my class, they will know how to write and solve order of operations correctly.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought that up because that's bringing so back many memories because we used to do that. My eighth grade teacher, my eighth grade math teacher, she always make learning fun, and we always did this every time. With a new lesson, she have her I can statement on the board, and she will read it off first, for how to do it, and then we will always chant back at her. So she would be like this, like I can, then we said I can, then solve word problems, using equations, using equations. Then we do that three times, and she always make it fun, to do it. Then we already know, how, what we're supposed to do. And then also at the end of class, she give us exit tickets and stuff like that. And that every teacher, I don't know how you would do it, in all your other classes, but especially in math, have do something, and make it fun because that's what students want. They want, make learnings fun, especially in your math classes and also especially in all of your classes, but really with math, because some students you have, who struggles with math, and then you have others, who are, they're very good at it. So, have I like that they're, do write it out onto your board, or have it on a sheet of paper for your students, whatever the case is. Have your I can statement, read it out, whatever best works for you. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Andrew. Yeah. All right. Number 7, you guys, we're almost done. Number 7 is to actively supervise your students. So let me explain this here. And of course, obviously with elementary students, of course. So present is very crucial, excuse me, to maintaining classroom management and to effectively deliver your instructions. And it is a skill we can all develop with effort. Now, although it's very tempting to sit at your desk and grade papers for teachers, that's also an invitation to your students to get distracted. Yes, of course, because when you go by at your desk, you're doing whatever, that is the time, when students want to act up because you're not in front of the classroom teaching. You're back at your desk in your corner, grading papers, looking at emails, whatever. And that's the perfect time, for students, to start talking, not doing their work. Trust me, I have experienced that. So, yeah. So, be active, you guys. Be active. Move around the room. Check in on your student progress and ask questions. It's not about policing your students, politicizing your students, but about interacting with them. Yes, because I had some of these former teachers, and I know I explained this before. I'm not trying to dish you guys all out, but some of you guys, you just always like to, and I remember this from like my high school years and middle school years. Some of you guys, teachers, you just like to, you do give us the work, you do be teaching us, but you don't be, walking around, you don't be interacting with your students, you don't go by desk to desk to check on if we're all working, moving around the classroom because you're always sitting at your desk. And some days you will teach from your desk, which you're supposed to be in front, for students to be present with you, looking at you in front of the classroom. But you be in the back of the classroom, and your students, they're not going to pay attention because they're hearing the voice from behind them or the side, whatever, in your classroom. And they're not going to be listening to you. They're going to be very distracted, talking to their friends, not doing their work. And that is a problem. That is not going to happen in my classroom because I'm going to be engaging with my students, moving around, checking on them, checking are they doing their work, be in front of the classroom teaching. So
Mhm.
please supervise what do you have? Andrew, you have something?
No. I was about to say, you took the word out of my mouth. I don't need to explain. I don't need to explain. Go ahead.
All right, you guys. Now, I found a study on this that found that a teacher's nonverbal cues, such as smiling and making eye contacts, can reduce physical and or physical logic distance with their students and boosting students' positive feelings toward the teacher and the course material while improving behavior. So that's like a note for all of you guys. And finally, number 8, told you guys we went by very quickly with this here. Number 8 is to be consistent in applying your rules. A teacher at a public high school, she was asked to discipline a Black student for violating the school dress code by wearing saggy jeans. And as they walked down the hallway, he pointed out other boys, which they were all white, who were also wearing saggy pants. And this is what happened. Their response: are you going to get them? Or wait, are you going to get him too? Or is it just me? He asked. So school and classroom expectations, rules and routines should be allowed and applied fairly to all students, to all students. I'm going to say it again to the back, to all students, because I seen this firsthand. Like always, I seen where, one student, is not doing what they're supposed to, because they're not supposed to wear, this and that. But then you have other students with the same thing, and you're not going to get on them, but because since we're Black and, okay, that should not have an issue. Seriously. If I get the same punishment, they should get the same punishment as me as well, not the other way around, because that makes totally no sense. Like, why do I get punished in this way and then the others, they don't get punished, or if they do, it's something that it's something totally different. That is not fair. So,
I ain't got time for it today. No, ma'am. If you get him too, because he doing the exact same thing.
Exactly. That makes no sense. So don't
if one bad apple can ruin the other batch, why he ain't getting it? What he waiting for? He waiting for Christmas. He better come on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So don't single out certain students. It's the behavior you should be focused on, not the student. So correct errors when you see them and provide additional instructions or reteaching when misbehavior occurs. So yeah. So like I said, don't single out certain students. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Because
no.
No party.
So that is for all of you guys. New teachers and veteran teachers out there. Some 8 proactive classroom management tips for you guys this upcoming school year. So I can hope you use some of them into your own classroom, and also share them out to your other colleagues as well.
Yes.
So so that is all from me. Andrew, do you have some classroom tips, classroom management tips that you would like to share for the new teachers this upcoming school year that you will think they should use inside their own classroom?
It's okay if you don't get everything done in one day.
Oh my gosh, wow. I was just hearing about this yesterday.
If you don't get everything done in one day. And this is coming from a substitute teacher. Okay. Mind you, I had a sub 3rd grade for the past 2 days. Some of the stuff I was supposed to teach, I didn't get to because of time. So I decided to postpone it till tomorrow, which will set everything back. But don't fret. Don't forget. Everything's gonna be okay.
Exactly.
Okay? You're behind. It's all right. It's okay. Don't fret about it. Okay. I'm pretty sure veteran teachers have stuff that they want to teach about, but they can't because of time.
Yeah.
Some classes are like almost 40 to 45 minutes long, and trying to cram all that information in that time slot.
No, that's too much. No.
That's why one day, all right, so this is the start of the lesson. Tomorrow we're going to review and then get back. Yep.
Yeah. Yes, and just like with me, I'm starting back the math session this upcoming school year, which is I'm going to be uploading to my YouTube channel. There are some lessons, you guys, that I don't get all of them in just one day. I spread them out, during the week, throughout, Monday through Friday, because I'm not going to get all those stuff in that I will teach you all in one day. That is not all possible. No. If I don't get it all in that one day, that's fine. We will do it again tomorrow and the next day if we have to. Okay, so teachers, educators, please, you guys, just calm down, just relax. Everything's gonna be fine. You can do it again the next day. You don't have to all cram it all into one day and expect your students to learn so much materials in that one day. No. So, all right, because I was actually like watching, when you said that, I actually was watching on YouTube, a teacher was explaining that. And I was like, that is so true there. That is so true. So thanks, Andrew, for that tip there. And we are finished, you guys. We are so finished. So I would like to thank you, Andrew, for coming back onto my podcast again. And you guys, don't worry, he'll be back on later on to the season. So make sure you guys, you look out for that. Also, you guys, he is in his third season of his show, Let's Frett About Education. So you guys check out his show, then also his new podcast, The Substitute Tour, which is, you can listen everywhere you stream your podcast. And then also with Let's Frett About Education on YouTube. And so, yeah, and then, his social media platforms, you guys, that will be down where you can see it right now. So follow him on Instagram, Twitter. So yeah, you guys. So thanks.
That's it. Instagram and Twitter. That's it.
Yeah.
But mostly Twitter, because I use Twitter a whole lot. So I don't use Instagram.
Yeah. He does, you guys. So yeah. Follow him, you guys. So until next time, you guys, take care of yourself, be blessed, and enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys next time on Damian Talks Education. Peace out.